Everyone, it's Kurt. So I don't know if you know about Silverstein, but he wrote a bunch of poems for kids, and I got this book, and I want to show you one. It's not a poem, but it's like cartoons, and I want to show you one cartoon in this book because it goes along with my what I say in my paradigm of non-paradigmness, that all the paradigms that we have are regurgitated bullshit um, from the cishet white man. And I really suggest getting this book if you can ever find it. It took me like 4 weeks to get it. My dad bought it on Amazon, and it took him like 2 weeks to get it. He has Amazon Prime, so it just takes some time to get. But I highly suggest it if you have the funds. It's a really eye-opening book about the different dances that we all do in society because we're a deterministic machine and we all follow the same habits. And even me, I follow the same habits. I just don't follow society's. Uh, but I'm gonna show this cartoon. I also want to mention that Shell is a songwriter and he wrote "Boy Named Sue." My dad told me about that, but I told my dad about this book. So tick for tack. That's the good thing about talking to people. They teach you things. Um, but well, it starts with this Greek dude that finds some shit on the side of the road. Um, Eats it, regurgitates it by adding more shit to the pile. And there's a new academic who does the same thing. You flip the page. Bullshit, regurgitation, and now we have full blown academia and a full blown pile of bullshit that we're basing our reality on. And it's just regurgitation of bullshit. All these cishet white dudes get told that they're special and important, get certificates, and they just regurgitate the same shit as the old cishet white dudes, and they bullshit that. And it's continuing to be bullshit, but no one actually knows but shit what they're talking about. They just keep on picking up the same bullshit, consuming it, and then regurgitating it, adding to the pile, and that's how we've gotten the pile of knowledge that we have. But anyway, that's my favorite Shell cartoon. Going off of this, I'd like to run a quick thought experiment with you guys in case you don't agree with me that we do live in a cis supremacy. I'm not trying to have an oppression Olympics. My oppression is way different from other people's. My oppression is kind of just like I think that we can talk about my oppression. We're going to talk about my oppression through a thought experiment in which I pose a trans supremacy, and then you guys can flip what I say is trans supremacist and see how in the cis supremacy, what the converse of what I'm saying is what we live by, without thinking, just more bullshit that's growing and perpetuated, and no one tries to change it. It's just like, this is the way things are. They aren't broken for anyone but trans people. So we're just going to continue to go by it because we don't give a shit about trans people. And so anyway, here, welcome to the trans supremacy. And what is the trans supremacy? Well, the first thing that we do in the trans supremacy is when kids are born, we measure their erectile tissue. And if their erectile tissue ain't that big, we label them males because they're clearly going to be trans males when they grow up. And if their erectile tissue is big, we label them females because they're clearly going to be trans females when they grow up. In our biology, in our biology, you know, that that academic monolith that we have created, the male is defined by having a uterus and the female is defined by having testes. And that's the way that we copulate. A female and male has to get it together, but they're defined biologically as our female and male. So in our hospitals, we have a paternity ward because only trans males can have the babies, right? And only males have a say in abortion laws because they're the only ones having the babies. And all of the period products are blue because some trans men still have their periods even after getting their meds. So we have to allow them to get that. And also, on top of that, because it's men having periods, we no longer have excise taxes on period products because it's men getting periods, right? We still live in a patriarchy, just a trans one. In this thought experiment, we can also try to experiment with the matriarchy, maybe in another video, and see how that turns out. But in this experiment, we're still in the patriarchy. We've just switched the alpha male as a trans man. That will never happen. In order for that to happen, the patriarchy has to come down. The cis supremacy will stay until the patriarchy comes down. So I'm going to try to end the patriarchy in order to get the cis supremacy to come down. I'm never going to be seen as a real male until the patriarchy ends. Because the patriarchy really only includes cis het males. It doesn't include anyone else. Well, white cis het males are the ones that are on top. But, anyway, not the purpose of this video. We can continue on the trans supremacy route. So other trans supremacist things, I already got biology. I already got labeling babies. Oh, we're like really concerned about trans kids not getting the right puberty at the right time. So everyone has to get on puberty blockers. Everyone has to get trans puberty just in case, like, we don't want a trans kid slipping through the cracks here. Like, what about them? What about the trans kid that gets the wrong puberty? Like, we can't have that. So now everyone has to get trans puberty. And if cis people end up figuring out that they're cis later in life, they have to transition. They have to transition back, get a second puberty. It's trans supremacist second puberty that they have to go through in order to get to their true self. I mean, we don't believe them, but like, cis people don't really exist, right? That's just all in their mind. But we'll help them get to the state that they want to be in order to feel like their authentic selves. But they're going to have to do it later in life, because how do we know that they're telling the truth? Like, they might just be confusion, and then they end up being a trans kid, and then that's so sad. They got the wrong puberty. You know, we can't have that. Not in the trans supremacy. Every single trans kid gets the right puberty. Okay? That's the way it goes. You know, God made us trans. It didn't make us cis. God made us trans. Welcome to the trans supremacy. God fuck. Yeah, so that's just a little taste of the trans supremacy. I'm sure I could think of more, but that's just a little sprinkling. It's just a little sprinkling. And if you're like, Kurt, you're just living in a fucking, like, that would never happen, then just flip it. And you'll see what you see. You'll see the cis supremacy that we all live in. The bullshit that we all take. And we say, this is fine. This is the way things are. Females are this. Male bodies are this. We can't have it any other way. Including trans people into our biology induces a huge contradiction with cisness, so we just can't have it. They're just fucked up in the head. And that's how our trans supremacist biology would go. We would say, you know, sissies, we get that you exist, we get that you think that you're real, but we can't have you in our biology because it's in direct contradiction with transness, and we can only have one or the other here. We can't have both. You know, we can't try to include you because then we're gonna It's a huge contradiction. We don't have contradictions in our academic. We're always right. The bullshit is always right. We can't start to contradict ourselves here, not here. We can't do it. So cisness, we believe you guys. But you guys don't get, it's not, our biology doesn't support you. You're just gonna have to take a step back. Don't become a biologist because you aren't included there. It's just the trans folks. God made trans, therefore our biology only is trans. Can't have room for cisness. But that's just a little taste of the trans supremacy. I hope if you're cis, it scared the shit out of you because that's what I go through. That's what I go through. I go through people telling me that I'm really an F. For medical reasons, I have to be an F. Because medically, Fs are the only ones with uteruses. But I say, well, I'm an M. What happens now? You can't label me with something more scientific like contains uterus XX chromosomes. You have to like go to this concept that's entirely theoretical, that that isn't, has no medical basis to it ever, because that just makes sense. Y'all into some other like, I don't know who taught you guys to think, but y'all just regurgitating the same bullshit without thinking about it. Y'all just eat the bullshit off the ground and then you shit it back out and you say the same thing. You never have a thought process about, oh, is this maybe the right thing to do? Or is this just what I'm told is the right thing to do? You never have that. I don't know where that is. I'm not any better because I have the same habits. Only my habits are like creative habits, where I say crazy shit. But I would still say I'm a cis supremacist because every once in a while I try to tell people that they can't label their babies with gender markers, and they come at me and they're like, you can't tell parents how to raise their children. And I'm like, well, that's not really what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to tell the doctors that know that trans people exist to tell the parents the right things, that their child could be M or F or N. We don't know. So it's just a conjecture them putting a label on us at birth. If they wanted to be medically accurate no matter what, they would label us with something scientific, like I said. But they don't. Because biology, their cis supremacist biology, tells them that there's no need to. Because male and female is fully scientific. And the cis supremacist biology, no one thinks about it. No one thinks. They're just regurgitating the same bullshit. So that's just a bit of the trans supremacy. Thought experiment, purely, clearly doesn't exist anywhere in the world. The only thing that exists anywhere in the world is the cis supremacy. It's what we live and die by. I don't really care. Either way, it doesn't matter to me. Like I said, I think I still have cis supremacist tendencies because I'm still telling parents that they aren't wrong for labeling their babies with the wrong gender markers, but I don't know how to get mad at the parents because the doctors are telling them the unscientific bullshit. So you're supposed to trust the doctors. I think that parents should listen to the doctors when the doctors tell them what to do. I think the doctors maybe should tell them something different because they're supposed to be scientific. They're supposed to have the degrees. They're supposed to be the ones that can think. But no. We just get shuffled through their system. Here's your meds. Here's your meds. We don't believe you that you're really biological. You're just fucking alien. But here's your meds. We can make money off of you with your meds, so we'll give you some meds. Make sure to come for your blood test because then we need money that way too. You have to keep on giving us a bunch of money in order for us to like continue this relationship with you. But that's not like doctors. I should probably get my blood test. I have been. I'm just saying, like, I'm not really against the doctors because they're just doing the things that we've always done, regurgitating the bullshit. It's just wrong.